Okay, so you're dreaming of Paris, huh? And of course, that means you're thinking about the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, who doesn't dream of that?
It's iconic, right?
Yep.
But also, with almost 6 million visitors every year,
Oh, yeah.
it can get a little crazy.
It's a zoo.
That's
Yeah.
why we are diving into this travel newsletter today.
Uh-huh.
It's called Best Tips to Plan a Smooth Visit to Iconic Eiffel Tower from Love to Visit France.
Okay.
And we're going to pull out the must-know information
Right.
to make your Eiffel Tower experience
Yeah.
smooth and memorable.
I love it.
So
That's good.
what's interesting is this newsletter is specifically geared towards people traveling from afar.
Yeah, and that's a good point because
So,
if you're planning a big trip to Paris,
yeah,
this deep dive is going to be extra valuable for you.
exactly.
Yeah.
They get that this is a big deal for you,
Yeah.
not just a quick stop,
Right.
you know.
Big investment.
And right off the bat, they recommend checking out the Big Bus Paris hop-off tour.
Okay.
I know it sounds super touristy.
You know, it's a little cheesy.
Yeah.
But it's actually, there's some strategic thinking behind this.
Okay.
Because, okay, you're in Paris, you want to see it all.
Yeah.
But navigating a new city, especially one as big and bustling as Paris, can be a real headache.
Oh, for sure.
So this bus tour lets you hit all the major spots efficiently,
Right.
from the Louvre to the Moulin Rouge and, of course, the Eiffel Tower itself.
Makes sense.
Plus, you get audio commentary along the way, so you're learning as you go.
Oh, that's nice.
Picture this. You on an open-top double-decker bus cruising past the Seine. The sun is setting.
Oh, yeah?
It's the perfect intro to Paris.
I love it.
Yeah.
And it solves the whole transportation dilemma, too.
Exactly.
No trying to decipher the metro map
Yeah.
or hailing taxis in French.
No, thank you.
But
Yeah.
this newsletter is about way more than just the tower itself.
Right.
They have a section called Around the Web that's full of cool suggestions.
Yeah.
Like, for example, if you're going in autumn, they have tips on how to really embrace the fall beauty of Paris.
Oh, nice.
Imagine strolling through parks with colorful leaves and that crisp autumn air.
Ooh, yeah.
How magical is that?
That sounds so nice.
They also recommend Versailles.
Of course. And Versailles is more than just a pretty palace.
Yeah.
It's where Louis XIV actually moved the entire French court in the 17th century.
Oh.
He used it to control the nobility, essentially keeping them close and under his watchful eye.
I never knew that.
Yeah, it was a very
Talk about a power move.
a power move, yeah.
Okay, so Versailles is for the history buffs,
Uh-huh.
but they also mention the Paris catacombs,
Oh, yeah.
which are a completely different vibe.
Right.
Over 6 million Parisians are buried down there.
Spooky.
I don't know if I'm brave enough for that, but it's
Yes.
definitely unique.
I don't know if I could do it either, but
It's what's fascinating is how they highlight these different options.
Yes.
Because not everyone travels the same way.
yeah, totally different kinds of travelers.
Some people are all about museums.
Right.
Others want to be outdoors.
Yes.
And some people are fascinated by the macabre.
Different strokes for different folks.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's like they're saying, here's a taste of everything Paris has to offer. Now go explore what calls to you.
I love that.
And speaking of exploring,
Yes.
they shine a light on the Poitou-Charentes region,
Okay.
which is a nice contrast to the city.
Right. It's a chance to experience a different side of France.
Okay.
So picture this. Instead of bustling city streets, you have picturesque coastlines, rolling hills covered in vineyards,
Oh, wow.
and charming towns steeped in history.
I like it.
For example, Cognac, the famous brandy, comes from this region.
Interesting.
It's also where you'll find Futuriscope,
I've heard of
a
that.
high-tech theme park that's totally different from anything you'd find in Paris.
They even include a picture of this stunning chateau
Oh.
called Chateau de Chenonceau.
Okay.
It's built over a river,
Wow.
like something out of a fairy tale.
Yeah.
It makes me realize how much more there is to France beyond just Paris.
I know, right?
But, we're just scratching the surface here.
I was going to say,
This newsletter is packed with info,
so much more to unpack.
including sections on food mange, they call it,
Oh.
where they talk about those incredible French croissants.
Which, let's be real,
Oh, yeah.
are practically mandatory when you're in Paris.
Totally. They even have a section with photos from social media showing off the gorgeous autumn colors in the city.
Oh, nice.
You can really get a feel for the atmosphere and the visual beauty of Paris, especially in the fall.
I can only imagine.
But before we get too carried away with everything you can do in and around Paris, let's take a pause here.
Okay.
We've only just begun to explore this travel newsletter,
Right. Just getting started.
and there's so much more to discover.
Can't wait.
So,
Yeah.
okay, so we're back.
Back for more.
Ready to dig deeper into this Eiffel Tower travel newsletter?
Yeah.
We've talked about strategic sightseeing, venturing out to Versailles and the catacombs,
Mm-hmm.
even escaping the city to the charming Poitou-Charentes region.
Yes,
But let's circle back to the Eiffel Tower itself.
of course.
It's the start of the show, after all.
The main interaction.
And the newsletter has some great advice
Oh, yeah.
on how to tackle the Eiffel Tower experience
Mm-hmm.
without losing your mind.
Yeah, you don't want it.
It emphasizes planning ahead,
Right.
which makes sense considering it's one of the most visited paid monuments in the
Right,
world.
sure.
They're not kidding about that.
Yeah.
And what I appreciate is they're speaking directly to people like you
Right.
traveling from afar.
Yeah.
This isn't just a casual,
No.
oh, I'm in the neighborhood kind of visit.
Not at all.
This is a big part of your trip.
This is the big one.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They understand that you've invested time and money to get here,
for sure.
and they want you to make the most of it.
Absolutely.
Imagine you finally arrive in Paris,
Okay.
excited to ascend the Eiffel Tower, only to discover that the queue is hours long.
Oh.
Or even worse, that tickets are completely sold out.
Disaster.
Ugh, that would be a nightmare.
I know. Yeah.
Luckily,
Look at
the newsletter gives us actionable advice to avoid that.
Okay, good.
They recommend booking tickets online in advance,
Yeah.
which seems obvious.
Well,
But you'd be surprised how many people don't think of that.
true.
It's all about managing expectations
Right.
and avoiding disappointment.
Nobody wants to be disappointed on vacation.
Right.
Yeah.
The newsletter even breaks down the different ticket types.
Okay.
Do you want to go to the second level
Uh-huh.
or splurge for the summit experience?
Ooh.
Deciding beforehand can save you a lot of hassle once you're there.
Makes sense.
They also have some smart tips about timing.
Okay.
They talk about the best time of day to visit
Uh-huh.
to avoid those massive crowds.
Right.
Nobody wants to spend their precious vacation standing in line.
Nobody wants to wait in line.
Right, because time is a valuable commodity, especially when you're traveling.
Especially when you're on vacation. Yeah.
The newsletter highlights how maximizing your time can lead to a much more satisfying trip overall.
I like that.
It's about being intentional with your choices,
Yes.
so you can truly savor each experience.
Very good point.
But let's be real.
Okay.
Sometimes, even with the best planning,
Right.
things don't go as smoothly as we'd hoped.
It happens?
What if you get to the Eiffel Tower,
Okay.
and despite your best efforts,
Uh-huh.
you're met with a huge queue?
Oh, no.
That's where the newsletter's advice on alternative viewpoints comes in.
Okay.
They suggest exploring the Champ de Mars,
Okay.
the park surrounding the tower.
So even if you can't immediately go up,
Yeah.
you can still enjoy the atmosphere and soak in the views.
Oh, I love that idea.
Yeah.
So even if you can't immediately go up the tower,
Right.
you can still enjoy the atmosphere
Uh-huh.
and soak in the views.
And get some nice photos.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about being flexible.
Right.
And finding beauty in unexpected places.
I love that.
You might even stumble upon a hidden gem
Oh, yeah.
you wouldn't have discovered otherwise.
For sure.
Speaking of finding beauty,
Yes.
the From Social Media section highlights the visual appeal of Paris,
Okay.
especially during autumn.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they talk about the amazing colors of the city
Uh-huh.
and how it's a photographer's dream.
Big golden leaves.
Imagine those golden leaves against the backdrop of the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
What an incredible photo op.
Paris in the fall.
Paris in the fall is truly magical.
Hmm.
The way the light plays on the Seine,
Uh-huh.
the colors of the trees reflecting in the river.
Gorgeous.
It's an artist's paradise.
It really is.
But beyond the picturesque scenery,
Right.
the newsletter subtly reminds us
Yeah.
that the Eiffel Tower is more than just a tourist attraction.
More than just a pretty tower.
It's a symbol of Paris,
Uh-huh.
of France,
Yeah.
and perhaps even a certain romantic ideal.
I think so.
It's a place where memories are made.
It is?
And memories that deserve to be captured,
Right.
whether through photos
Yeah.
or simply etched in our minds forever.
Absolutely.
But let's be honest,
Yeah.
no trip to Paris is complete
But-
without indulging in its culinary delights.
You're absolutely right.
And the newsletter tantalizes our taste buds
Ooh.
with a glimpse into the world of authentic French croissants.
Okay.
They describe the flaky layers,
Mm.
the buttery aroma.
Oh,
It's a sensory experience in itself.
I'm hungry.
I can practically taste it now.
Me too.
But you know,
Yeah.
this whole conversation has got me thinking.
Okay.
We've covered a lot of practical tips,
Right.
but there's a deeper layer to all of this, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The newsletter, whether intentionally or not,
Yeah.
brings up a really interesting question.
Okay.
What kind of traveler are you?
Ooh, I like where this is going.
Yeah.
You're right.
Uh-huh.
It's not just about seeing the sights. It's about understanding what you personally want to get out of your trip.
Right.
What kind of experience will resonate with you on a deeper level?
It's a good question.
That's a question we'll explore further
Yes.
in the final part of our deep dive.
I wait.
Okay, so we're back for the final part of our Eiffel Tower deep dive.
The grand finale.
We've covered planning, sightseeing, alternative viewpoints, even those sensory delights of Paris.
Yeah, the food, the sights, the smells.
But now it's time to get a little introspective.
Ooh, I like it.
Remember how we talked about different types of travelers?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, different strokes for different folks.
You had me intrigued with that question.
Uh-huh.
What kind of traveler are you?
Well, this newsletter, in a subtle way, encourages us to ask ourselves that very question.
Okay, I'm ready.
Are you a history buff fascinated by the stories of the past?
Or maybe an art enthusiast drawn to the masterpieces in the Louvre.
Right. Or maybe you're a nature lover yearning for wide open spaces and fresh air.
Yeah, there are so many different ways to travel.
The point is, understanding your travel style can lead to a much more fulfilling trip.
So how does this tie back to our Eiffel Tower adventure
Okay,
and planning a trip to Paris?
think of it this way. The Eiffel Tower is the anchor,
Okay.
the iconic landmark you absolutely have to see.
Right.
But from there, you can branch out in so many different directions based on your personal interests.
I'm starting to see what you mean.
Yeah.
If I'm a history lover, maybe I spend extra time at Versailles, truly immersing myself in the stories of French royalty.
Like, did you know that Marie Antoinette had her own mini village built on the grounds of Versailles so she could escape the pressures of court life?
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Crazy, right?
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
And if you're an art enthusiast, maybe you prioritize the Louvre over, say, that high-tech theme park we mentioned earlier.
Exactly.
It's all about making choices that align with your passions.
Yes.
It's not just about checking things off a list.
Right.
It's about curating an experience that truly speaks to you.
I like that.
And this newsletter, even though it's focused on the Eiffel Tower, subtly opens up those possibilities.
It does.
It gives us a taste of the diverse experiences that Paris and France have to offer.
I think that's a really great point.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, the key takeaway isn't just plan ahead.
Yeah.
It's plan with purpose.
Exactly.
Know yourself as a traveler and let that guide your choices.
And that's the beauty of a deep dive like this.
Yeah.
We uncover practical tips, of course.
Right.
But we also unearth these deeper themes that can enrich our travel experiences.
So as we reach the summit of our Eiffel Tower deep dive, what final thought would you leave our listener with?
Embrace the unexpected.
Ooh, I like that.
Paris and France as a whole are full of hidden gems waiting to be discovered.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to stray from the well-trodden path.
Right.
Use this newsletter as a springboard. Do your own research, and most importantly, follow your curiosity.
Who knows what amazing adventures await?
Exactly.
And on that note, we'll say au revoir.
Au revoir.
Bon voyage and happy travels.
Happy travels.